Let's see what happens. It's like it's loading real slow again. Setting up your meeting for you. I've never seen a connection.
Now stream live on YouTube. It says on mine.
All right, cool. We're in. It's pulling up.
What's up, everybody? What's going on?
We're live. We're live.
It's Thursday. We're live. And what's good, people? What's good? You find people that watch us. You know, we're having a little trouble issues, but we are in a building now where we've reached the other side of YouTube, where media lives, entertainment lives, and we're here with the Locked In podcast episode.
Yep, we're about to pull up the intro, so just bear with us, guys. We're gonna be with you guys in a second. We need to get like some type of intro, like not an intro, but like what's that called? Like not like, you know how there's an outro. It's like we will be with you shortly, and it has like some background music kind of.
It's a pause moment. It's a grace period for like 10 seconds or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Good idea for something to work on, man. Something behind the scenes.
There we go, bro. More ideas.
Posting these links up now. And once the links are in, I know you won't be able to see them anywhere right now because I know you're in a little bit of a Facebook bind, but we'll get into that another time.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm seeing them or not. I probably would see them. I just can't post or comment on them. I actually can see them, though, probably.
You can still catch it on YouTube, though. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Right, for that issue. Small issue, but no problem. Like I said, I really don't really go on Facebook too much anyway, but when I can. YouTube, I'm more on. So I was listening to us on Spotify.
Yeah. There was a little bit of a glitch kind of going on with Spotify. I worked on it a little bit. I'm gonna probably work on it after this as well. It is like a feed, like an RSS thing going on, but I'll take care of it. No big deal. I'm gonna play an intro for you guys. Hope you guys like it, and then we'll officially just hop into this one. So share my screen here. We'll pull it through. All right.
What's going on, Locked In Nation? Good evening, and welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, your home for personal development tips, sports news, music, and more. You are now in tune with episode 27 of the podcast. And this week's topic, 10 things that we think you should have done or know how to do by the age of 30. Basically, we're going to break down some things that we believe you should have done or just should be doing from personal experience by the age of 30. I, Steve, from the Locked In Podcast, am 28, so I'm not quite 30 yet, but I'm almost there. So I think I have a little bit of insight to offer here. George is 32, so George definitely knows from personal experience some things that you should be doing. These things will make you a more well-rounded individual, and they'll definitely help you grow. When you're younger, you're still figuring things out, right? It's an easy, structured life. Everything is just so simple. Whether it's adolescence or when you're in high school, you're hanging out with friends, you're dating. Life is just very, very easy. But as you get older, life definitely becomes more complicated. You start having to make decisions on your own. Should you go to college? If you do go to college, which university should you go to? Should you go to community college, or should you just go to a regular university? Which career path should you take? Which car should you buy? Which financial decision should you make? When should you move out and start a family? The list goes on. There's a lot of different things out there. Life just becomes tough, and that's just the fact of it. There's no way around it. Well, this episode will help provide you with 10 things, if you haven't already thought about them, that you should definitely be doing to kind of keep you on track. In this week's episode of the Locked In Podcast, there's going to be a little bit of a change of pace as well, as it will just be the main hosts, Steve Ushler and George Mentai, covering this week's content with no outside guest for only the second time in an episode since 2021 has commenced. We've had guests on almost every episode since the new year has come, and it's a trend that we do plan on continuing. As always, before we hop into it, we highly encourage you to chime in and comment during our live feed with your ideas and opinions. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. Featuring, as always, Steve Ushler and George Mentai. Enjoy the show.
That was a good one.
Yes, sir. Let me just exit out here.
Actually, definitely good music. Choice of music, We're back in,
What's that?
Well,
What's that, brother?
I said it was good choice of music, definitely good choice, and I liked it. And I said we're back in, but we're kind of back. We're already in here anyway.
I just wanted to make sure I exited out of that. Cool.
Yeah.
I know that the background music that was kind of cool. I kind of just found that out from like a little band I listened to. But what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, your home for personal development tips, sports news, music, and more. We're your hosts for the evening. As always, I'm Steve Ushler, and joined alongside me is the other half of the Locked In Podcast. What's up, man? George Mentai, as always, guys. As I said, this is episode 27, and it's only the second episode in 2021 where we don't have guests on, which is crazy because we've been pretty busy, and this was kind of improvised as well. We had a guest for this week, but he's kind of pushed back to next week, so we improvised. And this is going to be a great one, though. This is a topic that we've kind of discussed here and there, so it's been there, it's been lingering. I'm excited to hop into it, man, with you on the other side, my man. As always,
improvise and revolutionize. That's how we do.
Some of those episodes are the best ones, man, and I'm excited to hop into it tonight. And yeah, basically, if you guys did not hear the intro, or did not see our promotions from earlier today, we're going to be going through 10 things that we believe you should have either done or you should be doing by the age of 30. I'm 28, George is 32. We're right. We're like 4 years apart, but we're right on that cusp. George, yeah. So, these are some things that we're going to think that you should be doing. Like maybe you haven't thought of them, maybe you have, but if you haven't, this will be a nice path to guide you. These are going to be things that make you more well-rounded and just things that we honestly believe that you should be doing by the time you're 30 years of age, just from personal experience. So it's going to be fun. So we're about to hop into it. Before we hop into it, as always, guys, spread the word about our content. If you like what you see, just spread the word. We're on a public and private Facebook page. We have YouTube. We have Spotify. We have Instagram. Lots of different things going on. We have a personal website where we update all the websites. All those websites. We update all the episodes on the personal website. And they are updated as of last week's episode. Episode 26 is up there. So, guys, go check it out. You can find the link to our website in the bio of our Instagram page. As always, our Instagram page is the_locked_in_podcast. And you can find us on Spotify. As I said, you can just search the Locked In Podcast. You can find us on YouTube by searching the Locked In Podcast. Same thing with Facebook. So spread the word, guys, as always. If you like what you see on our YouTube channel, give this video a thumbs up at the end of it. Hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on because we go live every Thursday or Friday, depending on our guests, and you aren't going to want to miss our videos. So, yeah, like I said, hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on. Guys, we're gaining some traction here. It's about 3 months into 2021. So I'm excited for what the future holds. We got a lot of good things going on behind the scenes. We're almost in the summer, believe it or not, kind of crazy. But
Steve, right now you feel like summer's almost here, right? It's almost like spring, so
time is flying, man. Almost 3 months into the new year. I mean, it's crazy. I can't even really call it a new year at this point. It's crazy, but a lot of positivity coming from this year.
Right. It's a new year, but it's like 3 months is like some change, but think about this. We're 18. Today's March 18th, so we're kind of heading towards the end of March in a way, and it's almost Aries season, which means like I said, it's almost going on 4 months in a year, and a lot has changed, and we're doing a lot of things, but we're still progressing, still grinding, still trying to go where we need to be, and the podcast is growing for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Yeah, me and you, I think we're both on the same page there. Definitely getting a little bit of traction, but obviously a lot of things that we can improve on as well, which is why we encourage your feedback, guys. And just going to my point number 3, as always, sit back, stay hydrated, enjoy the show. It's 2021, guys. Be true and be you, as we always say. So we're going to hop into this tonight. Like I said, it's a lot of improvisation, so we're just going to each go through. And I do want to make a disclaimer that me and George we don't really know each other's lists that well. So we might have some things in this top 10, like great minds think alike. We might have things in our 10 tips that are very, very similar. And if that's the case, we'll kind of piggyback off one another. in the way we do things here. So improvisation. Yeah, let's hop into it. So this is a personal development episode, obviously, guys.
Right.
You know, we love giving you guys some great insight and help you guys where we can. So we'll hop into it. Do you want me to start tonight, George, or you want to start here?
I'll start a little bit and just gonna kind of take over, just kind of add on what you just said right now. The next sequence of of words and events. So, like you said, our list may be a little similar, like Steve was just saying. So, disclaimer doesn't mean that we thought about the same things at the same time because we barely talked before this. We just did our little meeting. That was it. So, the list could be a little similar, but also the funny thing is, even though I didn't do too much research because I already know what I'm talking about, and this is like late stuff. Some of the stuff that me and you might actually have on a list. You could be actually on list online on Google, like you said. Some of the stuff that you're going to probably mention in a few minutes. So that's the ironic part about the whole thing. It's a little like a lot of things could be, like you said, like grand minds think alike, and a lot of things that we might have came up on the spot. It's online as well because I was looking at some different stuff just to get some different ideas and all that. But yeah, I got a list. We're going to talk about 10 things. We may each of us have more than 5 or even 10 each, but we're going to talk about 10 main things because we don't want to give you guys too much info without really breaking it down and getting to the core. The truth of what we're trying to say. So yeah, having said that, no problem. I'll start. Let's take our time a little. We got a long time again, just me and you this time. Like it hasn't been like this in a while. So yeah, so basically this is the thing. Your 30s are obviously like a decade in your life, like your 20s are. I was looking at something earlier and yesterday a little about it said something about, I forgot the title, some kind of article I was reading, really interesting, right? And it said that the 20s or your 20s are one of the most exciting decades of your life. Let me repeat that for those that didn't hear the first time. Your 20s are definitely some of the most exciting, times and periods of your life, right? So having said that, with that being said now, it's like this. In your 20s, you'll do a lot of things. You'll probably graduate college. I mean, unless you start really early and you have by 18, 19, which I've met people that started college at like 15, real talk from other countries, but that's all another story. So unless you start that young, you'll be in your 20s, or 18 to about 22, 23. That's the usual age for college, that 4-year periods. It could take 5 years if you're going slow to school, whatever. So that's one thing's going to happen by 30. I mean, sorry, by 30, but in your 20s, you'll finish college, probably have like a decent job. For some people, pass their first job, and also you'll be 21, which means that now you're able to drink and do other things that you want to do when you're younger. Although some people, it's fair to say, do a little younger, probably, get away with it a little bit. So you'll do that. Your 20s are a great time of your life and a very exciting time, right? Which means that it's giving with your 30s, which is the next decade to follow. By your 30s, you really got to have a couple things in mind and a couple things like that you kind of like know that you want to do, and you have to have an idea on life, right? I also want to say more things, Steve, before I give you, because I'm gonna give you the word in a second. Also one time, and not to bring it too much on that kind of a topic, because that's for another episode. But one time I was watching a cool video about Coach Red Pill. You know who Coach Red Pill is, correct?
Yes.
Right. So I was watching a mini video blog, interviews doing or whatever, and he said that when you're young, he said, like in your late teens, like 15 to like 18, 20, 20s, up to your early 30s though, but usually in your 20s, you feel like you have oceans and oceans, decades of, oceans of decades, and years and years. And even though it's partly true, you kind of do, you also kind of don't, because you can go back kind of quickly. I don't want to sound too cliche, too old school here. They say, well, life is short, the meaning, the old saying and all that. It's not that life is short. Life is pretty long if you really live long, but it's just kind of like how you construct your time and how you move in life and the things you accomplish by a certain age. So no matter what, I say this to say that no matter what you do, you always got to think that even though you have time, you kind of don't have time. So do things at the right timing in life, keyword timing, and when you need to be doing them, So again, learn something, another language by 28, 29, or at least try to learn one. Like you said, you're trying to whatever. Go somewhere, learn a skill, meet some people, things of that nature. So, what I mean? Makes sense here?
Agreed.
Right.
100%.
Right. Now, and before, like I said, I'll get to the list in a second, but before I say that, it's safe to say that a lot of people want to do a lot of things by 30, but even if you don't do them by 30, but you start sometime in your early 30s, like quick example, say by the time you're 31, close to 32, you know how to sew, actually clothes you can ride a motorcycle, just for those that like to do that. You're a great swimmer, you've been to some great places, you go to the beach often, you stay in shape, and you still especially if you're a guy, but if you're a woman too, but girl, guy, doesn't matter. But if you're like, in our case, especially you're almost 30, by 30, guys start to develop slightly of a belly if you let yourself go a little, if you actually don't exercise a little more. So that's the thing. Maybe you still stay in shape, stay consistent. That's success by 30, if you ask me, because you've done a couple things, small things in the nature that, you're getting better at things, you're still learning, you're evolving. Mistakes in the past you wouldn't do anymore, and you picked up new hobbies and skills, and maybe possibly left some habits. like Joe Rogan, the great Joe Rogan, always talks good things. Once said that you're not really you necessarily at 22 and you're 30. You're a different person. You're not the same person unless you just stay still. You're not staying stagnant. You're moving in life constantly. Most people always believe that that's how you should do it. So at the same time, you will overstand, something you did back in the day. You're over that. You're much smarter now, and you're at a different place in life. And society throws a term like success like all the time, but this is your success. Like this is your story. So it's okay to be a little over 30 and still getting things done. Hell, even 35 is not a terrible age. I mean, they say a man's peak is 30 to 35. Yeah, or 29 sometimes. Even at 29, some people, by 29, it's almost like they're at the doors of 30. But all I can say, bro, and again, I'll give you the word, and then we'll go back to the term in a second to the list. All I can say is you're 28, so we'll consider you live 28, you're going for 29. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy that year and a half in your 20s, because I mean, you're still, in your 20s. When I turned 30, it was different. It was just like, okay, I'm here. It was a great night. I went out, I had a great time, and like people my age, born the same year as me, when you turn 30, I see what they're doing. Everybody kind of just has like a nice little, event, and you just feel like you're at a coming of age in a way. I mean, I think it's safe to say, because 30 is still relatively young. He's saying like the 50s or 40s or 30, you're pretty much a grown man in the army. I mean, you can still do it now, or in your 20s, I mean, by the time you're 26, 27, you're still kind of young a little bit, in the life game, you're still learning. A lot of people don't know how to cook at 26, 27, they're still kind of learning that. So by 30 to do 15 or 31, that's a good achievement.
Yeah,
Anything
for sure,
to add to this, what I just said? Anything, agree or disagree with?
I agree with majority of the things you said, man. I mean, I can just hint from my side of it. You hinted on a lot of different things. I like your point though. Like, you don't necessarily like these are good things to do by 30 if you're not 30 already. If you're 30 already and you're watching this, these are still things that you can do. We don't want to say like, oh, you can never do this, but for some good insight of like important things that you can do by the time you're 30 years old. Just some great things, and we're going to hop into our list shortly, but I think you made some solid points. I'll probably just start with one of mine. So if I go to my list, one of the things that I think people should do by the time they're 30 is travel. So traveling, I think, is very, very important. This is something I'm trying to get better with, because while I just went to Miami this year, I have some trips booked down the line this year before the end of 2021. I got a few in the pipeline at the moment, and I also want to say, if you could possibly do it, take a solo trip. So that could be anywhere. Like if you're living in the States, travel somewhere by yourself. You can fly internationally. Now, I do want to obviously make the point that if you are flying overseas, to be safe, because it can be a lot more unsafe if you're flying by yourself, whether you're a male or a female. But I would definitely say traveling. The most interesting people that I know, that like I'm friends with and that I know, have traveled extensively. So I can say you can learn a lot from traveling. And it's something I'm trying to get better with myself, being 28 years old. I mean, I'm still got a couple of years till 30, but definitely trying to travel a lot more moving forward before I do hit 30 years old. And I have my passport now, so I can fly internationally. I can kind of go wherever. It really doesn't matter. I'm just like not being afraid to spend the money on trips, because the money returns. Your memories and your time, they don't return. So travel while you can. Obviously, with COVID right now, if you are traveling, make sure you look at protocols, especially if you're flying overseas. So, but traveling is important, and I have never actually traveled solo by myself, but I am planning to by the end of this year. And just look at the destinations that make sense to travel alone. You know what I mean? Obviously, some destinations are going to be more fun if you're with people, but traveling alone, from the people that I know who have done it, say it's like life changing. Just because you get away by yourself, you bring a solid book, something you can just relax, taking a view. It's just like a lot of you're able to be one with yourself and be very, very mindful, and it can be an exhilarating experience. So I would say that's number one on my list: travel.
Yes.
Whether it's flying or driving.
I want to add on to this one for a second.
Yes,
Traveling
sir.
is very important for a person. I mean, it's kind of like in a way, bro, it's like enriching your soul, your mind. You're seeing different things, you're experiencing. Because think about this: you're always in the same place, and even in the city. Think about it: when you go in different parts of the city, you feel different vibe. And imagine in a different state, different place, country, county, overseas, even continent. You're like, wow, like imagine going like somewhere nice, like in Europe or in Africa or somewhere in Asia, at a temple, and you're seeing like beautiful sights, and you're like, you couldn't see these in the States. Just like they can see sites that we have here. Some of the stuff from colonial times, it's more popular here or in parts of Europe, but you're not going to see it too much in, some other continents. You know what I mean? Like, and then you go to Europe, you go to Greece or Italy or Turkey or even Albania or something like that. You see like nice places, like old buildings, you know what I mean? Old monuments, old ruins, south of Spain. I mean, Northern Africa, Egypt, Morocco, all that. I mean, it's beautiful, so traveling is extremely important. And not to say this because you already mentioned it, so now I can actually say this because I didn't want to say it first, earlier. So one of the things I saw online on some of the stuff that says things to do, I was kind of just messing around looking at different things, just just for fun, looking at perspectives. He said traveling is number one, by the way. Was one of them. It was number one. Yeah. Now I'm not saying that other lists start with that one. It was just one of the things to do after your 20s or by the time you're 30. So in your 20s, it said. But even if you're 30 and you're traveling now, it's great. Especially if you don't, if you don't have kids right now, and if if you're still like single, if you feel like you have more time to yourself as opposed to like when you're kids and you work, you work a lot and all that. Take some vacation time and go do it. Not that you can't travel with your kids and with your family, but I'm saying solo trips or just you with some friends and all that. You'll definitely get it done now before you really, settle down because you can do it easier now. That's all. It's just easier now. So.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know who needs to hear this, but use your vacation time. There's so many people I know that work and like they want to like overwork and like not use their vacation time. You need it for the mental health side of it. Just use it. I would say travel if you have the means, but I mean, obviously, even if you don't, a lot of people like to do staycations where they just stay home, but it's you're not working. But mental health wise. But I liked your one point that you said. It changes your perspective when you travel. If you stay in the same place, you go to the same bars, you go to the same restaurants in your area all the time, you're not gaining any new perspective. You already know the people that go there. You're not honestly like leaving your comfort zone. You're not open. You're not trying new things. You're not being open-minded. If you're going to the same spots every weekend, every year, every month, you're not, your perspective, your mind, your perspective, it's not going to change. So to open up, that's probably why the people that I know that are the most interesting are well-traveled, because they can talk about so much. There's so many different things,
bro. As a person that, again, another thing was to live in another country. I lived when I was younger, like not even in my 20s before that. Although I did travel a little overseas in my 20s, but not that much. I think actually I didn't travel nowhere after 19. So yeah, in my 20s I traveled. I'm talking about overseas though. I traveled in the country, in the States, but in my 20s, 19 to about 29 to 30, I was traveling mostly in the States, not so much overseas. But I traveled overseas like in my teens, so I'm still old enough to to know a little and to be experienced enough to go there. And it's a different perspective. Living somewhere else, it's a whole different because now you have a different cultural value elements you bring. You live like in 2 other countries and you're from another country. Like I lived in 2 other countries. I'm from Albania, but I lived in Italy too. So I'm like, all right, when I came here, it was like, and now I've been in the States. I'm pretty much a Philly guy, so I lived here so long. So it's like, I got the perspective. So I could go to Canada and be good. Go to Italy. I'm like, I never left. It's like I never left.
Sir.
I go to Spain. I'm cool. Albania, Europe. I mean, other countries too, South America. So
for sure.
That's something that you got to do. Maybe sometime you got to do that as well. But definitely some solo trips and traveling is always good, guys. So like Steve said, I don't know if you hear this, but definitely travel, guys. If you have the means, go for it. Time doesn't come back. Money will. Some family time can still come back a little bit, but I mean, like most of your time like that to travel, your window's not as as big as as it seems, especially when you're like a little younger, because you don't travel when you're a little young too and enjoy yourself. Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that one. No, actually, you mentioned that first. So, anything else for that before I go on to a couple more? I got some more, but
for not for that one. You can keep it moving on your list if you want. Okay. You can go through some.
Sure. Okay. So one of the things to do by like I said, by 30 or around the time you're 30 is it sounds a little funny, that learn how to cook, guys. Learn how to cook is definitely very important. It's something that everybody should know and should at least try to do or have an idea of. What I mean by when I have an idea of is at least you might not know everything to know about cooking. You're not necessarily a chef. You don't do everything, but you can cook and prepare some meals. And even if you have some company over, like a friend or whatever, your girlfriend or some person, you can actually make a small meal and it looks kind of cool. I mean, yeah, it's impressive, when a guy can cook well, but it takes time. Nobody becomes a great cook over time. You just learn something small. Even if you have to have somebody, your parents, somebody, your family, your sister, whatever, brother, write them down for you. So you can all you gotta do is look at the list. Okay, I'll do this. It's actually even easier because now you're doing it on your own. The key's doing your own. That's what builds confidence. So learn how to cook, learn how to, play around with, with the culinary arts a little bit, learn some recipes, learn some different things, food techniques, how to do things easier, how to bake something, definitely different foods. I like different foods and I do my own, grocery shopping, which is something else that, could be added to the list later on down the line. So what I do is when I get some food that I like, I'll kind of look up how to do it, how to actually cook it. So I'll try to do my own. But if I can't do that, I just get help. I don't have an ego. If I don't know how to do it, I don't know how to do it, You know, not all guys all learn how to cook younger. You know, usually women know how to cook a little more than than males. You know, by a certain age, because I mean, it's true. You know, but women also they what's it called? They mature quicker than us. You know what I mean? So sometimes the cooking comes kind of it kind of comes with it. You know what I mean? So cooking is one that. But now, if you're 30, you don't know how to cook that well. Is that the end of the world? Fuck no. You can still learn a lot of things. You can still kind of gain just by being 30 and seeing how people cook. I feel like you pick something up over your life. No person in the world, whatever gender, right? It's 30 and you don't know like anything about anything. Like, probably like how to make an egg, how to make a sandwich, how to prepare something, how to cut something, and chop it up and make it happen. So yeah, you could definitely, that's one. Like cooking is not really super duper hard neither, especially the more basic stuff. So that's one. I'll go on to another one, and then I'll go to three. I'll give you the leadway again. Another one that by the time you're 30, that you should, like I said, you should either know or have an idea on is at least and again, you don't have to be an expert in this, but have some kind of idea of financial, like sort of like a little bit of stability, but also the financial, like how to grow your money, how to save money. In other words, your financial like budgeting. Just kind of like knowing how to handle situations, how to budget a little bit, especially if you're living on your own, because that's even harder now. It's one thing if you have a roommate or somebody helps you pay the rent, or you live with your parents and go back, but on your own, bro, very important. Me and you have discussed this countless of times. I can just see by your faces that you're kind of making an expression like about this. So go ahead, add on to a little bit to this one. We can kind of go back and forth on this one a little.
Man. Great minds think alike, man. On both your points, those were two things that were on my list as well. Just going off the cook, you know what? I'll go to the finance one second, but I'll go to the cooking one first. So on my list, I had, be able to cook just at least one solid dish. Like you can have a go-to dish, whether you're having, family over, friends, date night, whatever it is. You're having a female over, or even for females, if you're having a man over, know how to have a solid go-to dish by the time you're 30.
The way to it's hard is through the kitchen, I say, right? So females are cook, they always got the,
Yeah. For me, two of the ones I like to do is just, basic chicken parmesan, and then I like to do like a lemon glazed salmon. So two different kinds of dishes, like seafood, and you got a meat. But just, have two go-to dishes. You don't have to be Chef Gordon Ramsay. Just learn a couple things. And I think a lot of people get scared of cooking. It's not as hard. I mean, it's like you said, George, a little bit of trial and error here and there. But, you live it, you learn. You know what I mean? Just, you just learn by taking little steps and learning how to cook. But it's good. It feels good to know how to cook a solid dish, and like people taste it and they're like, wow, that tastes good. And you can perfect it over time. Just find something that you have a go-to for when you have company over or something. It's great.
I was thinking the same thing. Honestly, dude, if you know like three dishes, because again, back to my point for a second, you can actually have a couple things you know how to prepare, and you can make a small meal for you and your friend, your female friend, your girlfriend, wife, whatever, right? Your friends are over, but preparing a couple small things, or even finger foods, like those ways. Finger food, right? You know what I mean? So, right, like a toothpick or something, right? I mean, just doing stuff like that is cool. But then, like you said, cooking something small like a salmon. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta know how to cook sushi, but if you get it almost like pre-made a little bit, and then you gotta do is warm it up and prepare and cook it a little bit. It's like half the battle already. Make some sushi. I know you like sushi personally, so why not? What's so hard about that? I mean, pizza's already made for you, frozen foods even, or microwave things. Prepare them. Make a salad. I mean, make it nice. It doesn't have to be too pretty. Make it cool. Make it beautiful for you. Just some nice food, a sandwich. And if you're on a diet or even like doing a strict diet, then cook things that that goes well and in conjunction to your diet. Don't make something it's gonna totally throw you off. I mean, don't eat pizza if you're trying to I mean, whatever the case may be. Maybe you're running a little. Maybe you want to lose a pound. Maybe you gotta cut some weight because you're a fighter or a wrestler or a boxer or something like that. Maybe you're gonna lose cut weight for whatever reason for 2 days. Don't starve yourself. Just make something small, a small portion. Walk it off, jog it off, whatever. Run it off.
Yeah, exactly. And something I've tried to perfect, actually, it's like a trending thing, it's like poke, which is like, it's like a sushi bowl. Basically, for people who don't like raw fish, you might not like it, but poke is like a trendy. It's a trendy thing, man. I do like what you can do, either like salmon or like raw salmon or raw tuna. You mix it with like a bed of cooked rice. You can add like avocado, scallions, a little bit of sauce. You can do like spicy mayo, or sriracha, whatever it is, mango. There's a lot of different things you can add. But poke bowls are good. Something I've been trying to perfect.
I see everybody with avocado joints, bro. The emojis and all that. So it's super popular. Just so you know, right now.
Avocados become a big trendy thing, man. Avocado toast. You see it. It's very, very hipster. Very, very trending. Like
very trendy, very cool. Very much in the scene. Very desirable. People are putting a post everywhere. like people used to do back in the day with the team, like the food things, team large and shit like that, like team.
Yeah.
Well, and people still do. I mean, I know it's old now, and people still some do, some don't, but they take pictures before they eat something. But now, the trend is now people are eating healthy, not just pizza and burgers and fries. They're eating a little more healthy. So everybody wants to compete on eating better. So you look good, and you don't, you lose the weight, or you don't,
Right.
get sloppy basically. So
Right. I do want to touch on your point about the financial side too, because I think that could be probably one of the most important things inside of this episode. Out of the 10 things, it could be one of the most important. So we are going to have a personal finance segment within the next few weeks. So I'm not going to go into too in depth in this. I'm a finance major. I went to college for finance. I'm not a financial advisor by any means, though. So before I dive into this side, I do want to stress the point that I am not a financial advisor. I am not a financial advisor. This is just basically based off of my personal experience with money and finances. So I'm not an advisor by any means. I want to make that disclaimer. But personal finance, obviously, very, very important. You know what they say, money is not everything, but money is important. You need money when you get to be 30 years old, you want to be financially, you want to be financially free. You don't need to be the richest person in the world, but I think there comes something with financial freedom with, not having to worry about, say a friend, asks you want to go take a trip at the drop of the hat. You're like, yep, already got it. Like, you're financially free. You can take care of, not just yourself, but other people, just having different assets. And what I mean by, I want to get a little bit specific with it, but I'm not going to make a whole episode of this. But the things that I think you need to have is you need to know your credit score. You need to monitor your credit. If you have debt, make attempts to pay it down. If you have a credit card and, each month, whatever you put on the credit card, pay it off that month. Don't carry a balance because the interest rates are ridiculous.
They're crazy. They kill, bro. You know about this kind of
stuff. Yeah, they do. With credit cards, it's critical. If you open up a credit card, most of the time you can check free credit scores. Capital One's great with that. They use this thing called CreditWise. You can monitor your credit. Credit is important for a number of reasons. You want to rent. You want to lease or finance a car. You want to go get a mortgage. You want to go take out a mortgage on a home. It's important because a good credit score, an excellent credit score, will get you the best interest rates. Also, learn to save. So savings accounts are important. But I do want to kind of stress this point. Save your money, but also don't put too much stock into saving. Invest your money, because people don't understand this, but with savings is you're saving your money, right? Even the best savings accounts usually have about a 2% interest rate, if that, and it doesn't adjust for inflation. So almost every year, it's almost like you're losing money. Why not put that money into the stock market and grow it? And I do want to also kind of break down a difference between, like I said, we'll have a whole episode on this, but there's different kinds of investing. If you're investing for the long term for retirement, they're called IRAs, individual retirement accounts. If you're going to invest for the long term, which it's never too early to start saving for retirement. You could be a millionaire if you start investing today. You contribute a little bit each month. By the time you're 65, you can be a multimillionaire. So invest when you can. If you're investing for the short term, though, you want to invest that money, you want to take it out to buy a home or something like that, open up a brokerage account. So I think there's no fees to open. You can always find good, Vanguard has some good ones. Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade for trades. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Robinhood, you can use if you just want a short-term brokerage account. Yeah, for short-term. Yeah, so open up a brokerage account if you're going to go short-term invested. Long-term investing, IRA. There's a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA. The only difference is before tax dollars and after tax dollars. Like I said, we'll get into it in the finance episode, but no credit. Understand credit, understand the importance of saving, understand the importance of investing, and pay your bills on time. Just make sure things are taken care of.
Mortgage and bills are number 1 or 2, bro. But I mean, I don't want to cut you off, but I'm just saying, this is definitely very important for sure.
Yeah,
you gotta be good. Pay your loans too, student loans, I'm paying them right now, and you probably. So.
Yeah, I think the most critical thing is automation. Find ways to automate where you got money coming in from your 9 to 5. Say you got a side hustle, you got money coming in from there. Put your bill, every bill that you can on a credit card. have a system where the money that's coming in from your bank account that you're, because if you can put the things on your credit card and you're going to pay them off anyway, you pay them from your checking account each month, why not put them on the credit card? As long as you're going to utilize that credit card correctly. So, you automatically have money coming from the credit card that is getting paid off through your checking account, and then have money that automatically goes to your savings, your investment accounts. I'm a finance major and I hate managing money. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, no, even people in finance don't like managing money. Like, I'm being honest. Like, if you can set up a system that automatically does it for you, you'll have to take 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes tops each month to manage your money. That's a pretty solid system. Like, you don't need to spend hours a day managing your money. You can just automate it. But we'll definitely get into automation when we get into that finance episode.
We'll talk about it more in depth, and we'll have some examples, some advice and insights. Obviously, we might even have somebody who knows about finance today, other than you, of course. I know you know some good stuff too, a good amount of things. But I mean, like, even one of our friends that was in the past, our friend, I'm talking about, he knows about that, and we have a couple people that actually know too, so it's not really a big issue. I'm glad you brought this point up though, and actually I want to stick with this for a second because about that, yeah, bro, like you said, if you want to buy a house and get money, or even if you get a loan from the bank, or sometimes even a car or something like that, it's good because bad credit can really ruin you, and it's hard to fix your credit and the rates and all that because rates are high, but it's good to at least try. And if the interest is high, just like you said, that's the best way to do it. Just pay it off. Credit, to the contrary, people think it's not like once you have like your credit gets really bad or ruined, it's ruined forever. It can get fixed, but it takes some time, and it depends on how quickly you're trying to fix it, how much you're spending, which means it can slow you down in other regards in life. So you got to either have financial freedom and stability, or have a job that pays you well. We can kind of work with this, but to work just to pay loans and the fix your credit kind of sucks, right? You want to work and have money for other things, like you said, to travel, live life like it's supposed to be, have some fun. So it can be very detrimental and very important. Definitely essential, which is a word we'll be hearing a lot this past year and a half, but that's very essential for sure. Very important.
Yeah, 100%. You would definitely want to be financially free when you're in your 30s. It's money's stressful. You want to make sure.
One of the most special things, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean, so like I said, we'll get into this when we do a finance episode, but when you create your own spending plan, you can still have a certain amount of money from each check that comes in to spend for yourself. But you obviously want to make sure you're putting money into your investment accounts, into your savings accounts. You got money flowing in different areas. All your bills are paid off. You're utilizing your credit card to the max that you can possibly use it.
Different ways of income.
Credit cards offer great rewards. That's the reason why you want to use credit cards to their advantage. If you're getting cash back rewards, why not put your bills on the credit card if they're going to get paid off automatically? If you have a miles card, why not put the bills on the miles card? Because you're going to gain flyer miles, like for when you're like every little bit you put on there and you pay off.
Bro, so, I don't think you win the lottery, right? If you do well and you invest the money in a smart way, you pay your bills off, you're good. You're the man or the woman or whatever, So like, here's the thing, and we can move on as well after this, because I know you probably kind of covered. It was both on our list, so it makes sense that we both kind of covered it. But the thing is this, guys, also don't get too caught up in what we're just saying, in the sense that, like, if you're 30 or by 30, remember 30 is like the new 20. A 30 is still considered, to some of the older people out there, you're still kind of like a baby in a way, even though you're not really, because you're a little older, but you're still young in the life game. So, or being on your own. So learn how to manage your money, save money, but you can still be 30 and not really know a lot about finances, but at least that's the time to really start doing your research and your work. When you go to Google and watch something about finances, how to save money, or if you're like 29, be like, put something in like best money saving tips by 30 or by age of 30. It'll give you a lot of different options. Trust me, you can do that. So that's that. And I was gonna say something, but I almost forgot. I was gonna say, because you were talking earlier. No
problem.
Mm-hmm. So here's something, bro. Check this out. I want to say something now about the plan, right? About the having like a plan and having saving accounts. I've had 2 saving accounts. Well, I have more than 2, but I'm saying 2 times that when I actually made one. So one was like when I was really young, maybe like 22, 23. Then I made one 28. By the time I was 28, dude, I was 28. No, actually 29. I was 29. I had actually 3 different banks I was banking with, by the way. 3 different banks. And in one of the banks, it was actually PNC. You have to have 2 different accounts and a virtual wallet. And you got to have this thing, which basically is like you have $500 at all times in a savings. More than 500 potentially, but you got to pay a small fee, of course, and then 500 minimum in your normal. You got to keep, and that means like you got to make a decent amount of money just to keep the accounts alive. And long story short, I was there for a while, but then I ended up going just staying with Citizen, and of course TD Bank. Eventually, I got with them because I used to work there, as you know. So eventually, I made my plan to get with them when I was there. But then about a year and a half after I stopped working there, I actually got I switched over, and I got an account there as well from Citizens. I also went to what's it called, TD Bank, but
TD
that's what I'm
Bank.
saying. I had 3 banks. I was with TD, with Citizen, and with PNC, and I let PNC go. And then and funny thing is, on the Eagles parade, I remember that day before the parade really got poppy. People went out there. It was in the morning. It was around maybe 8 something. I went and I did something in the bank real quick. Then I hurried to the parade. So I caught on, I caught most of it, but you had to do that because something's going on with the bank where with the loans and all. So that's how I remember that. And yeah, I mean, I also have I started another savings account at the age of 31. That was about going on 2 years now, about that time, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So
Nice.
31 going to 32. So you're never really too old, or even if you're over 30, don't think that it's too late. I'm screwing up, everything sucks. You let money in a situation, maybe you're going through a lot right now, and it kind of screws you over, it fucks with your head. Don't let that really occur. It happens to everybody. I mean, real talk, but just take your time, breathe a little, think about what you could do, write some down, go to the bank and figure it out, put money in, invest money. Sometimes it's better to have money saved in a savings account or save somewhere, stash it somewhere in a safe or something, but don't, have it always in your hand to spend it. That's the thing. People spend money when they have money in their hand. You have money, you're going to spend money, period. Some people can control themselves more, but they have the card and don't keep cash, but still, it's always a little tempting if, you
for sure.
put it away. And yeah, it's a really good point, Brian. We'll definitely have an episode on this one. So another thing that was on my on my list, and then I'll let you go on your list. That's 3 things so far I said. So after that, it'll be your turn. Another thing that I had on my list was also pick up a skill as far as something with a handyman thing. And this is kind of like you add on to that. Also, be a little more even no matter if you're a guy or a girl, especially for guys, right? Be a little more I'm not saying being a car expert, being Michael Schumacher, being a racer, knowing everything about cars, but be a little more knowledgeable and take care of your car a little better. By the time you're 29, 30, you should know a little, at least a little about cars. Not just changing a tire, but know what the noises are. Recognize, okay, my tires are done. Oh, it's burning rubber. Oh man, it's that the noise. That's totally that's the fucking brakes. You know what I mean? Or something like the growly noise, sway bars and all that. Do some research if you have to, learn something, guys. Again, you don't got to be a car buff. I mean, I'm a little bit of a car buff, but I'll be the first to tell you I'm no car expert like that. I know about the years and small things, but I got friends and family members and cousins and all that, and a brother-in-law who's also kind of a mechanic, some people, that I'm related to as well. So, and my uncle Albania is a great mechanic. One of the, he was on top in the city back in the day, back before I was even born. So I grew up around some mechanics and I picked up, but it wasn't until about 25, 26, I had to be like, you know what? I got to be a little more for my car. When I got my, at the time I had a Bonneville. No, I had a Scion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I also had a Hyundai the same year, but
Nice, man.
And so I have to kind of learn about cars a little. So yeah, I think be a little bit of a handyman, guys. Learn about cars and learn about stuff in the house. Like do some stuff with silicone, fix your bike if you have to, your tires, screw some things together, read some directions if you have to. It's not the easiest thing in the world. I know it can be a little complicated, and I'm not saying you should be a carpenter, stonemason, floorman, roofman, all the above. But knowing a little bit of everything does not hurt your, your mental and just your overall achievements and your value, as as being a better version of yourself, and again, it's good for it actually only helps and harnesses and gives you a little more perspective, because now your car breaks down, you can try to do something in your car. You gotta go to the mechanic for everything. Now some things gotta go there, but some people do their oil change even on their own. I'm trying to get there to do more of my oil change, but I could change my tires and all that, look at small problems, I wash my car on my own. Sometimes I go to the car wash for the thrill of it, but most of the time I do it on my own.
Good points, man. It's not something that was on my list, but definitely a good point you made there. Yeah, it's definitely important to, at least know the basics of being a little bit handy. A woman likes a man that can be a little bit handy around the house. So, if you know how to do some things or your way around the car, say you're out with a woman and you know how to change a tire. It's a little bit sexy, I guess, because you know what I mean? It's you're a little bit self-sufficient there. Some good points. Know how to change a tire. I would say when it comes to cars, we might not know all the noises, but as you have a car for a long time, you kind of recognize certain noises, you recognize certain smells, like if you could smell burnt rubber. Right. There's a lot of different things that go into it. I have a dad who's a mechanic. He's not I grew up around some mechanics as well. My dad is a mechanic. He's 30 plus years, not a car mechanic, but a bus mechanic for SEPTA.
Yeah, which is even harder in some ways. But damn, you know what? I'm sure he knows a little about cars too, though. It's no way he doesn't know.
Yeah, he does.
It's automobile. It's a vehicle. So I mean, unless you're a boat mechanic or a plane mechanic, that's a whole different book. That's
Yeah, exactly.
What's the name? I remember Coach Dan was here a couple. He was in an episode. Those guys that saw the episode. He was I believe 23. He actually used to be I believe a helicopter mechanic. He knew a little bit about helicopters. He flew a little bit. Wow,
that's awesome, man.
A little bit. Yeah, he knows a little bit about planes and all that. I mean, not planes. Planes too, but mostly helicopters. That's what he's done. So
yeah. Dan's a well-rounded dude, man. very well-rounded dude.
Shout out to our buddy Dan, but yeah, for sure, he definitely knows a thing or two, and he's very, very, very intelligent, very knowledgeable in a lot of things. He's kind of a handyman because he does like small jobs. I actually worked with him one time or twice. I did a floor and we did some windows, some outside work. Me being a little bit of a handyman myself, and working with my father construction for like over 15 years since 03, so what 18 years now. You know what I mean? So I was 15 when I started. So although I'm not really, again, in no way I'm a professional like that. Although I am, in other words, because I worked for money in the past. I've done small jobs of my own too. But I mean, everything from shoveling snow to cutting grass to doing small things to car maintenance. It's called car maintenance. Now, dealing your car is a different thing. But I mean, even cleaning inside your car is very important. Girls like guys with clean cars, and people look at guys with clean cars like with a different point of view. So yeah, but
Yeah,
like I said,
no doubt.
I've worked a little, so even construction helps too, bro. And again, I worked a little with Dan as well. So yeah, it's good to be all around it, bro. Good to have family can teach you. Good to have friends and uncles and cousins and brothers, and just good to have family and good to know what you're doing, bro.
100%, man. Um, if I go to one of my points, another thing, top 10 things you should do
Go ahead.
by the time you're 30, invest in your education. And before I get a lot of hate for like people saying like, "Oh, you're trying to tell me to go to college," and not like it's not like that by any means.
Right.
If there's so many ways you can invest in your education. College, I want to make that disclaimer. I went to college. College is not for everybody. And if you're going to go for a major that's not going to be able to generate you a lot of money and it's going to put you in a lot of student loan debt, I recommend not doing it. So you can learn things. A lot of the things you can probably learn in college, and I'm not shouting out any majors or anything like that, but you can learn through. Yeah, you can learn them online. There's a lot of courses that are going to be a lot cheaper than going to a big name university. I went to college. I just felt like college was the right path for me. You see, I thought about it and, I wanted to go for finance. I honestly want to start my own company one day, but finance was the pathway that I wanted to go to. And it's generated me a good return on investment because it's a career that, people are in need. Accountants, like I'm not an accountant, but I'm a financial analyst, but, when it's a career that's going to be able to allow you to still pay off your debt, which college is a great investment if you know what you're going for and that's really what you want to do. But there's many other ways. You can go to a trade school and that education, you can go for HVAC, plumbing, electrician, carpenter. There's so many different trades out there. Invest in yourself we've talked about this multiple times, the website called Skillshare. There's a lot of other websites out there like Skillshare. Skillshare is one that I've used from personal experience. Now, I don't have the website up here, but they offer so many different things. Photography, video and film editing, graphic design, entrepreneurship courses, marketing, real estate. There's so many different things, like even creating a podcast. There's so many different things on there, that you can honestly go. And there's these people that teach these private courses all over the world. Premium membership at the most expensive is like $15 a month. But you don't even need to pay that. I think your first 3 months are free when you sign up. So, or first 2 months, whatever it is. But there's promo codes out there you can use. Just invest in yourself. Read. I would say read, listen to audiobooks. Find ways to invest in your education and invest in yourself. Stay knowledgeable. And we talked about this on Frank's episode a couple weeks ago. Always be learning. You never know too much. So put your ego aside and attempt to learn. You can learn from people in real life as well. I'm learning from people on this podcast, man. It's just like having different guests on, like some of your guests and then some of my guests. I learn from people each week I'm on here.
It's amazing, right? That's the cool thing about podcasting. You can learn from everybody. You never know at all. Because actually, that's what I spoke today on one of the posts I did on Instagram. You say you saw it. To learn it all, you always learn. It's always like a third eye. They have a little Buddha, like a person meditating with like 3D, like a hole in his face instead of the eye in there. Meaning that it goes deeper. It's a really deep way of looking at it. But he ends up just saying it goes all to your mental deepness, deep to your skull, to your mind. That nothing's really like so how can I say like know it all or nothing really is learned and that's it's over. There's always like more to it. Like there's so many sides and knowledge is infinite. So always learn, always take notes. Like you said, educate yourself too because that's what it is. But education is important. Whether you're doing it on your own in school or in a library or I mean, you ever watch a movie, for example, bro? It's a dude in jail and he's like nothing doing. He's educating himself. They go to school in jail and learn things because they have so much time in their hands now. Well, you could do that whatever to go in a pen, whatever, to go in a box. You could just,
exactly.
If you're just doing it, like even if you didn't go to college, or let's say maybe you dropped out for whatever reason, you went to high school, but or you didn't go to college at all because it wasn't your thing, wherever the fuck happened, right? So you can learn a lot by reading books and audios, and even in this day and age where everything's on your phone, it's literally, here, on your, stuff and all that. You could just like educate yourself and ask people, do webinars. I mean, it's a thing. Zoom now, it's for educational purposes. You can look at our podcast and think of it in an educational way, but more like in a lifelong way, like real life setting, so to speak, because I mean, we try, we do try to show you things, how things are, you guys, and like the truth behind it, everything, give insights and perspectives. But truth is, we don't know it all, and our way is not the way, it's just one of the ways, So we give you guys, content, we talk, we have fun with it, we bring people in, we BS sometimes a little bit, we have, make it humorous, we give you guys quotes, we give you guys material, but it's up for you guys to see and to be put on, and what you do with it's your own things, your own choice. So like Steve was saying, like you're saying, bro, it's really, it comes down to how you do it. And if you're like kind of like going for yours like me, I was looking about financial analyst stuff like 3 weeks ago. Before that, I did some work on real estate. A friend of mine is trying to get me into real estate a little for a while now, so it's definitely one of my future goals, like you said. And maybe you can even who knows, like you said, you start your own company career, but maybe you can even have an financial analyst type of company, besides like a sports management brand or cigar brands. I know you like suits and cigars and all that. Maybe you can invest in talking about fighting earlier, about promotion. I actually want to get into boxing promotion, MMA promotion. That'll be one of the things for me, since I'm already fighting. I already promote myself a certain way. I'm
right.
This is people behind the scenes. Me and you gotta have a meeting and talk about behind the scenes things, bro, because we might be able to do something, by the way, like something cool, like possibly in a photo shoot for a podcast or some promoting, because I know the right people now, but it's taking time. Somebody, a good friend of mine, they just did a surgery, so no, when he's back and all that, we'll make it happen. And then I have a few things I want to do as well. So we'll be discussing that in the podcast without saying too much, and we might bring a person who does a lot of photography and videography, like we just mentioned with the Skillshare. So be on the lookout for that. It's probably in April, May. It's the second quarter almost, first quarter is almost the wrap. So, it's like almost second quarter. So, hey, second quarter, baby. The Eagles are second quarter teams, third quarter teams.
I got a couple of business professionals who have their own businesses that will be coming on shortly. I think one in a couple of weeks. And then I also have a guy that I went to Temple with. Ironically, guy went to Temple with me. He dropped out. He actually wound up not finishing at Temple. Started his own company now. So he's a business owner, and he's a new dad as well. So he's a busy man right now, but he's going to come on sometime in May. It's my boy Bryce, solid dude out there. Bryce Simmons, shout out to you, my brother. Yeah, this is going to be that one's going to be fun. But he watches our content, so loyal supporter. He's been one of the beginning supporters. So a shout out out there.
Yep.
But yeah, investing in yourself, invest in your education. Like I said, you don't need to go to college for it. You made some great points there, man. But I'll move on to the next one. This is kind of like learning as well, although it's maybe not as much education, but it's this kind of goes between travel and education. Before you're 30, try to learn a new language. So this is something that I've been working on since 2021 has started.
You got a winner.
Yeah, I'm using Babbel to learn Italian right now. And another language I kind of want to learn is Portuguese, just for travel, just for extensive purposes. But Italian has always been one I got a little bit in me. It's very, very small percentage, but it's always just been something I've been a little bit interested in. And it's a language that's somewhat used fluently. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't I try to learn this? You can just, and I'm learning a lot from it, to be honest. But I'm like, it's just one of these things that I wanted to do just for me, to learn a new language. And I want to travel to Italy one day. So that's on my bucket list. I have a passport. I want to fly over to Italy. I want to see Florence. I want to see Sicily. I want to see Rome, Milan, a lot of different spots inside of Italy, Venice. So I want to learn Italian just for the fact that when I travel, I might be able to speak it a little bit and kind of get out of my comfort zone there. So,
right, righteous for sure.
Yeah, for sure,
Italian, bro. I can even help you with that, bro. Out of the spots you said,
you lived in Italy for a little bit.
Yeah, I've been to those 4 spots, bro. Rome, Milan, Venice, and Florence. I didn't stay in Florence too long, but I was there for a little, and I passed by there. Never been to Sicily, though. Sicily, never been to Calabria, and also never been to Sardinia. You love Sardinia because it's such a beautiful island, and it's right like near the candle. And then Corsica's on top of it, which used to be Italian, but it's France. It's part of France now. It's French now. And that's where Napoleon Bonaparte was from. Corsica. He was Corsican, which was Italian then. But of course, that's when the French took over. So if you ever go to Sicily, Sardinia, bro, you'd love the beaches there. I mean, everything, the food, the culture, the language, the women, the people, the atmosphere. So yeah, I would say learn Italian would help, bro. And real quick question for you, actually. Matter of fact, since you brought this good point up. Have you ever thought about using Rosetta Stone or you said Babbel use? You don't use Rosetta Stone?
Yeah, I'm using Babbel because it's a little bit cheaper, to be honest, and it just teaching me like you can choose kind of like what you want to learn the language for. If it's a personal reason, if you're using it for travel. So I put travel because like when I travel to Italy, like so they give you like everyday scenarios. Rosetta Stone, from people I know, phenomenal option as well. Lewis was one of them that told me. He said he had bought like all these different languages. He said it was a few $100s, but he said he had like 20 something languages in it. It was a Rosetta Stone package or something, and he said it's very insightful, very insightful. Yeah, Rosetta Stone's another one that I've heard great things about. I'm not using Rosetta Stone myself, but from what I've heard, phenomenal. Either way you go around it, learning a new language by the time you're 30, or even if you're after 30 and you're watching this video right now, it's never too late to learn.
No,
and it makes you more interesting. It makes you more interesting. Guess what? You can speak in conversations with people that know other languages. You can actually add. Yeah, you can actually add that. Yeah, it makes you bilingual. You can actually add that to your resume as well.
Yeah, he does, bro, for sure. No, yeah, he does. Oh, definitely to your resume. Even for jobs, he helps 100%. If you spoke like Spanish, Italian fluently, even Portuguese. I mean, I actually took French in high school. I don't speak it as much, and I'm a little, like a little damn, regret that like I didn't pursue it more. But I learned a little, and back in the day, I spoke it like enough to hold a conversation, and even I still remember a little, and I can understand almost everything. I still speak a couple words and a couple sentences. But the cool thing about it is, one time, it's just a quick story. Back in the day, I want to say it was like maybe 05 or 06. I don't remember. I forget the year, but it was around then. I was in Italy, actually in Rome, at the airport, going to Albania, ironically, right? And we seen this Syrian woman. She was saying that she's looking for her sister. So I was talking to her. She said, "Je cherche," which means I'm looking for. And it's very similar to Italian, but I spoke French a little. At the time I was taking high school, so it was more fresh in my mind. I'm actually doing that through a book now and through Google and all that, but different story. It's a little different. So long story short, I spoke to this woman. I helped, and I was like, okay, so you have to go here, make a right, and go to the help there, the people that help, like the people that go to different places, I think it was called like the airport, some kind of customer service place there. It was, like the police that people speak different languages, and they could tell you if she got on the wrong plane or she just lost in this big, airports are big, especially in Rome. So I was able to do that, and I was like, wow, you can actually learn a little through high school if you take like French 1 or French 2 or Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 or whatever. And I was like, this is kind of cool, It's like good to like learn something. You feel like you can connect with more people, help somebody. But the cool thing about it is when you hear the language and you actually learn a little, what it means. You're like, oh, I know what that means. You're like, you feel like, it feels cool, man. You feel like what you're doing.
It clicks, right?
Clicks,
for sure.
You're the man. Yeah, for sure. So it's very, very interesting, bro. Yeah, good luck with it. Like I said, I got you in Italian, bro. Even with Spanish, Portuguese, I want to learn myself, but I still understand it very well. I speak a little bit, but not enough to really claim anything. While Spanish and Italian are like, that's like my bread and butter for real. And of course, Albanian. I'm Albanian.
For sure. If you want to go on to your next topic, I'm just gonna step away. It's just gonna be 10 quick seconds, all right, brother?
Okay, no problem.
Just real quick.
Go ahead. I'll go to the next one, I guess. So, we mentioned a couple of good points. So another one is as far as like something you could do by the age of 30 or around the time you're 30, and even after 30, there's no really no guarantees, no real limits. You just kind of like you learn at your own pace and all that. Another thing is, just learn like like I said, like a new skill, but something like it can help you in the future. Maybe like a hobby skill, like maybe like riding a bicycle or a car, with like with a what's it called, with stick shift type of car. Like maybe you can do the automatic, the normal one, or stick shift. Learn something different. Like a hobby. Like go karting. Go out there. You know what I mean? Like even damn, parasailing is even fun. So do like learn something new, a skill that can help you, but also like something you like a hobby as well. Like do a hobby of yours. Do something like you haven't done in a while. Just kind of like go for it. Like even though you may have done it or you want to do it. Like another one is like if you want to like say you want to go again parasailing, even like skydiving. Not that you can do it after 30, but one of the things it is you can do it by a certain age because the older you get, the your interest sometimes it leaves you a little, and also like for certain crazy sort of like extreme activities like this, like even like whether it's bungee jumping. Not saying you should do that, but I'm saying that that's what you like to do. Then you could go for that. But like a bungee jumping type of thing, skydiving. One of the things I like to do personally, take like a nice boat ride trip, and just stop somewhere cool, a nice little zone, not too far away, and just dive in the ocean real quick, come right back out. Hey, out to sea swimming. I know it sounds dangerous, sounds scary. People are like, well, there's sharks in the background. Well, they're not sharks, in every area. And if you go, somebody knows what they're talking about, they'll take you to a nice little safe place. They actually do that in other countries. I mean, they even do it in Hawaii, which is one of the shark capitals, and even tourists do that. But I mean, that's a whole different story. But I'm basically saying something about, so my next one on the list was that do something like a cool activity and pick up a skill that's kind of help you in the background in the future. Like if you like cars and bikes, again, learn a little bit about bike fixing or being a little bike mechanic. If you like about, if you're into like fighting and all that, either train a little bit or maybe even get into like a promoting or, talk about, break down a sport, be like an analyst of sports, combat sports and all that. And I was talking about activities like parasailing, like you're talking about, going somewhere in the ocean when they stop the ship, or the boat, you can actually jump a little in the water for the little middle of the ocean swim, and I was saying you can do it in some places where it's safe, because these places, they're safer than others,
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about, basically, right before you appeared again. And like
that's a good point,
pick up a skill and do something that you always like to do, like an activity. And the reason I'm not saying you can't be 30 or over 30 or 40 for that matter to do this, but I was talking to, just explain to the audience that if you're up there like 30 or 35, you're interested in some things, even though you might still like them, it kind of decreases a little bit. Some activities seem a little like a little crazy, a little, like a sort of outdoors type of thing, or even sometimes extreme. A person is more likely to do them in your 20s and early 30s, and you're like 30s, 40s. By your 40s, you chill more. You're not really, you're not really trying to go to certain roller coasters and all that. Although you might still, but in your 30s, because you're more, your drive is more there to do things. And then in your 40s, you want to do things still, but you chill a little more. You're more relaxed now because you've done it more. You've seen it all, or most of it, not all, but
True.
So yeah, I mean, even if you're 40, whenever podcast we'll talk about things to do by 40. We're not 40, obviously, but or 35 even, So I mean, if you want to be technical, there's always a time to learn new things. And I mean, 30 is just a great time. But like I said, definitely hit up some roller coasters that you like. Definitely go, whether you go skydiving or bungee jumping or just go in a helicopter, take a nice little ride, do that, fly. I mean, it goes with traveling a little too. I mean, flying, but I mean, definitely fly somewhere because flying is cool too. You can take a train to go to places too, but when you can fly overseas, that's the whole.
Yeah,
traveling is cool because just the flying part, there's a travel. It's the whole experience to go there. Never mind you get there. To go there's the whole thing. Then you get there and you see the experience. You go to like France, Holland. Another place to go, bro. Netherlands, Holland. I mean, you do know it's legal there, So.
Yeah, we know it's legal over there.
It's the legal capital of the world.
Yeah, but I like your point on like just the thrill seeking activities, stuff like that. I think that everybody should kind of do them. That's something I want to do too: skydiving, bungee jumping, trail running, climbing mountains, whatever it is. But there's a lot of different things you can
hammock chilling in a nice long place and 2 trees, all the way up there, hammock chilling, you just chill in hammock, then you go down, climb trees. But climb trees,
some roller coaster, climb some trees. But there's just so many things you can do with it. Like face your fears, go out there and push your comfort zone. A lot of different things.
Your comfort zone. Out the box, think out the box too.
For sure. If I move towards another topic, one thing I would say is let me think of the other ones. So another one I had was, so this one's a little bit cheesy, but honest, we talked about this right before, man. Yeah. Right before the episode when we were kind of just going through some things real quick. But fall in love at least once. Like put yourself out there and even if it wasn't when you were in high school, I think that it's important to, and like I said, if you're 30 and you still haven't like dated or fallen in love, I'm not saying it's still dated or whatever, anything like that. Like you're never getting married, you're never gonna have.
You gotta have a little experience.
But I do want to, but I definitely want to stress the importance of like, fall in love, like, and just go through those emotions at least once. You can still be with the person you fell in love with that one time, or obviously you might not be, but that's okay. Like the thing about it is you don't really know what, the older you get, like it's you want to go through those emotions when you're younger, so you gain experience. If you're just ever too scared to put yourself out there, you're never ever going to really know what else there is. And we talked about this before the episode. Just if you need to, like, before you get to a relationship, I do want to say, like, make sure that you at least like love and respect yourself, because you shouldn't be able to tolerate any toxic behavior inside of a relationship. And I'm not a relationship coach by any means or anything like that, but that's definitely something that we talked about. When you respect yourself, you just notice that your significant other or the person you meet is an opportunity to just be the cherry on top. It's just like a little bit of you're adding something to your life. Like you have value in yourself. Right. You respect yourself.
And you're trying to work something with somebody else. But that's the thing too, bro. If you can just, I'm gonna let you finish this because I want you to talk about this rather than me, really, because it was you brought it up. But here's the thing. So there's a difference between if you're in love, right? Okay, it's cool. And if you haven't done about 30, it's one thing. Most people do in their 20s, experience that phase. Also, being in a relationship with somebody and dating them and, maybe like liking them on having love for them is not the same as fall in love with them. So you can fall in love, but you can also be in a relationship for many years. Or whereas you can be in a relationship for a couple of years or maybe like a year, a couple of months even, but you don't necessarily like in love with a person, but you get to know them. And that's fine. Even if you're not in love right away, if it's been only a few months maybe, but build from there and get experience, you know what I mean? And, again, we always encourage the positive, never try to really waste somebody's time, for nothing. Be more upfront with them. Don't try, to mangle them and play around and just like create false narratives and, lie to them and play with their feelings. Be upfront, be honest. Sometimes you never in a relationship, you still see somebody and dating them, and that's even better. And then if you never in a relationship and you fall in love, that's fine too. Don't be scared to fall in love. Yo, there's a Jamaican song. There's actually a very popular reggae song. It's called "Everyone Fall in Love Sometimes."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could play it, but I don't want us the French people, to get us, so I'm not gonna play it right now. But I could play for a quick second. Everyone fall in love sometime. Remember the song? You never heard of the song?
Oh yeah.
It's a very classic, bro. Dirty Rhythm or Dirty Wine. It's a really cool one, bro. It's amazing. Definitely a really top song. But it's from Tanto, Metro, and Devante, an old school Jamaican group. Two, real cool dudes, real big time musicians, badass dudes. And that's a good song. I mean, every time I used to go to the reggae clubs, bro, I used to play that song. So if the song's in the school, bro, it's okay. Don't be scared to fall in love, guys, and and girls. And then I mean, just do what you gotta do, like you said. Very good point, Steve. And if you want to continue a little bit, I mean, I want to give you the leeway.
Yeah, just falling in love is just it's a great feeling. There's just almost like nothing like it. If you fall in love with someone and just put yourself out there, date a lot, whatever it is, but just take the leap, take the chances, and that's definitely some things I think you should do by the time you're 30 years of age. When you're 30 years old, you're becoming an adult. So definitely just put yourself out there and fall in love at least once. Everybody's had that one love, or like maybe they've had multiple people they've fallen in love with, but yeah, a little cheesy, like I said, but definitely I think an important thing, and especially in a growth process of life. Maybe you're not into anybody, maybe you're not attracted to anybody. I mean, hey, I don't know you. Everybody's different, but most people just fall. I think it's an important step in life for sure. Do you have anything else to add, or can I move on? You want me to move on to my next one?
Yeah, 1 second. So far,
No
I think
problem.
it's 4. You said about there was a fourth one, right? So it's about 8. Okay, so we're almost there. Like 2 more. Okay. Another one. Let me see. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure if you have this one. If you do, bro, God, and I said before you, I apologize in advance. But so check this out. All right, guys, this is my last one. My for the day, and then I'll let you do 2 more so we can kind of complete it. This is at 8. So or this is 9 rather. So again, guys, necessarily like a big change or something you got to do by 30, but something to kind of keep in mind and know. Talk about fashion a little. I feel like by 30, you should know where you are, and I feel like you should, definitely sort of like not necessarily just like get better, but you gotta improve a little and just like keep an open mind on your wardrobe, your closet, change it every now and then, refresh it, get some ideas, wear some of the latest trends and clothing labels, and some of the like nice clothing lines or things you want to wear. So, I mean, by no means am I a fashion expert or guru, although I give some opinions and I do, I've done some blog news in the past, small things, and I've talked about it in a podcast. Our very good friend, James McCormick, shout out to James. He does a lot of like counseling and all that, and a lot of mentoring, as well as like he's what is he what's it called, a fashion like a fashion stylist and a fashion advisor. He can give you a lot of advice for like how to dress nice and all that. But in other words, you don't gotta always go be in a suit, guys, or suited up, or in a polo shirt, but just dress like nice, kind of like improve a few things that you look back with a picture. I could have done this a little better. Okay, I'm wearing this, but dudes ain't wearing chains like the gold chains anymore. Now it's like platinum, it's different rings. The blue bling thing is different. If you dress in like a certain way, like even hip hop, street, urban wise, or urban wise, city wise, the big chains are coming back now, like the old days in the 90s and some early days, like early 90s and all that. You can still wear stuff from 2000s, but the baggy jean thing is different. Doesn't mean that if you're a guy, especially if you're a certain size, and you wear a little baggy jeans or somewhere in between, it's the wrong thing. No, you can't do that. But just have an open mind is what I'm saying. Change it up a little. It's a whole other trend. We can get deep in this, although I don't really want to too much. So I want to mention this and kind of like elaborate a little, keep going. I want to get, because this could be a very deep, type of subtopic or small case in its own and topic. But yeah, like I said, just you can do what you got to do, but always think about what you can do in the future. Like a nice, a burn up shirt, bro, some Levi's, some nice jeans. True Religion jeans are pretty hot in the market. I mean, nice sneakers, some nice shoes for sure. Dress appropriate. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta dress your age chick. That shit dead. I don't even talk about it, to be honest, bro. But in other words, definitely, know that you're a certain age and dress a little, where like that you can be taken serious. You go somewhere, be like, oh, he just is nice, nice. Appearances don't lie. What you see is what it is. What they see is what it is. The first appearance, and seeing is believing, and looks matter too. So I mean, and again, this could go back to like the trendy thing, the clothing thing, the fashion, dating, men's looks, improvement, which we can get into later or another episode too. But just be yourself. Rock a little chain if you want to, a nice watch. Girls always like a guy that wears a nice watch. Guys like girls that wear some nice jewelry. And we talked about the jewelry thing on one of the few episodes ago, Nicole and them. So it was like definitely wear something nice. Look at some different trends. If it's something you want to get there, do your research, go get it. The size that fits you. And if you need something advice when it comes to like dress a certain way, definitely reach out to somebody that you might know. Like me and you are lucky, we know somebody. We're blessed with friends that do that kind of stuff and know about this for real. And me and you go to some nice stores every now and then too. I mean, we definitely shop well. Although recently it's been kind of crazy. I've been shopping from home too lately, But again, my friend told me a long time ago, my boy, he said, like work your wardrobe little by little. In other words, you go to the store today, tomorrow, after this, buy 2 things. Don't buy like 4 items to go. I'm gonna go shopping, blue money. Buy 2 things. Dissect it slowly. Buy like a nice bun-up. Buy some sneakers, like a few weeks. All right, what's lacking? My white shirt collection needs a little work. Okay, cool. Buy 2 white shirts. Buy a hat. Like I'm seeing you rocking a hat right now. If you gotta wear hats, a dude that wears hats, get a hat or something cool. A hoodie or something. Of course, you could do Christmas. Christmas time or like in winter and fall shopping and spring and summer and all that. But just kind of like improve on that and definitely by the time you're 30, you have a little idea of what you kind of what you want to wear and where to shop and how to do your shopping, because it's definitely important. Your clothes are a representation of who you are. You can't have dirty clothes and expect to be taken seriously and to be high value. Go somewhere nice and all eyes on you and people look at you like, oh, he stands out. Especially if you're like just slouching, if you're shitty clothes, a big ass thing, you're like this, like dead energy, sit straight, looks confident, seem happy. You don't gotta laugh all the time and smile. Just go out there, not approach people. A lot of people get shy because of that, and they feel like they're not wearing the right clothes, and then people get scared. Oh, this person made fun of what I wear. That's just school bullshit. That's petty shit. We ain't talking about that. We're past that. We're beyond that. It's 2021. You got to be true to you, and you got to wear what you like and what fits you well, and what fits you not just like literally physically, but just as far as your style. What you think is the best for you, the trend that goes for you. So that's what I wanted to kind of mention. That's I believe I had about 5 of them. I think you use about 2 more or 1 more if you want. I think it's 9. So did you want to add on to this real quick or what I just said?
Yeah. Before I hop into another one, I definitely, like I said, great minds think alike. I had that on my list as well. In essence, I would say when it comes to fashion, by the time you're 30, you should have a sense of general fashion. What I mean by that is know what works for your body type. Like dark colors usually work for people that are dark colors can work for a lot of people. Light colors work for some other people. It depends on the complexion of your skin. Understand, have a sense of fashion, have a sense on patterns, what works for you, what doesn't. You can always figure it out for yourself, or you can hire an image consultant. They can figure that out for you. James actually does that as well. He does image consulting. So our boy James McCormick does that. We actually are going to get into we're going to get into fashion next week, not just for men, but for women as well. So my buddy Derek Bailey will be on next week, and I like the shades, man. Yeah. Yeah, my buddy Derek Bailey, he knows a lot about the fashion realm and when it comes to fashion. So we're going to specifically hop into that there. But yeah, having a sense of style, having a sense of fashion, I think by the time you're 30, you should definitely have a little bit of an awareness. So yeah, you want to wear clothes that fit your body correctly too. And that's when you're going to become the most comfortable. James said this, it's about how the clothes fit you, because it's a mindset. When you're wearing clothes that fit you correctly, guess what? You feel good. When you got clothes that are tailored to your body type, you feel confident. You feel good.
Nothing about
Whereas if you're wearing baggy clothes, you're feeling like baggy clothes or clothes that are too tight on you, you're not going to feel comfortable. It's just in essence it. And for sure. And I don't even want to just say fashion, grooming as well. You should have a sense of knowing how to groom yourself and how to take care of your hygiene when you're 30 years of age. I shouldn't even have to say that, but a lot of people don't know how to, they don't shave or know how to maintain a beard, or they don't know how to make
sloppy
haircut. Nails are very important, especially for men. A lot of men just let their nails go, whether it's your toenails or your fingernails. I'm gonna tell you right now, guys out there, women notice that. It's a small detail that women notice.
They notice, and guys, women too, by the way, with nails and all that. Dirty hands, trust me.
And I've heard this from women, so this is coming right from the mouth of women. They notice your fingernails. They notice to clean them. Make sure
guys are dirty for sure.
brush your teeth, floss, brush your teeth, not just brush your teeth, brush your tongue, because you have a lot of bacteria right on your tongue.
Wash your
Um,
face.
wash your face, get a skincare routine kind of going. It doesn't have to be super like extensive.
Yourself, your armpits, all that. Wash up.
Wash your eyes, wash your face, just rinse with mouthwash. Keep yourself groomed. Have your hair, if you rock like a spiked hair or hair gel or not, just have some gel for your hair. Maintain, if you have a beard, maintain your beard. Keep it. Don't get a haircut every once in a while just to keep your hair like in place. I just see
every other week if you have to. Shave up is only $10 or $5. Not a haircut, a shave up.
I know too many people that are just not good when it comes to hygiene and their own fashion. Like you can tell, like they walk outside, they look like they like just woke up, and it's not something that can't be improved. It takes a little bit of work at it. You know what I mean? It's not the easiest thing to do, but you figure it out. It just requires putting a little bit of work in. It's like learning a solid recipe when you're cooking. It's just something that takes a little bit of time, a little bit of trial and error, and just figuring out what works for you.
Initiation, right?
And just learning how to groom, and obviously showering every day, like showering regularly. I shouldn't even have to say that. Wear deodorant. Clean. Find a couple colognes or some fragrances that work for your skin and your body that you like. Yeah, for sure. Like scent is important. Like it's just there's a lot of different ways, but grooming and fashion, you should definitely have a sense of style, and you should definitely know what you're doing when you're grooming.
Yeah, bro.
Manscaping, whatever it is, by the time you're 30 years of age.
If your monsters a little, don't have no hair coming out your ear or kind of weird shit,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Like you gotta be very, how can I say it, bro? You gotta be very aware of what you're doing, bro. But I think, see the thing, and I need to interrupt you, but I just want to add on to this. Like, I have a sense, of these things at a very young age, even when I was like 20, 21, and most guys at 20, 21 are still kind of young in the head a little, or even like 19. But as I grew older, it's like I learned smaller things, like you say, always, like even you wash your face, but then you gotta put a certain cream. At some point, I wouldn't put a cream, but if pimples come out, don't mess with them too much. If you do wash your face, don't have nails fucking with your face and all these extra shit. Dudes, grab their face, they bite their nails. You know what I mean? Am I saying you can't bite your nails, do this? Of course, sometimes you can, but it's not recommended because you fuck your teeth up, you fuck your nails up too. It's good as a little clipper, just pop, little clip. I mean, take care of yourself. You can say groom a little bit. I know dudes out there that go and they even get tans and shit, chest and all that. That's all, all besides the point. But I mean, even that's also part of it. If you want to look a certain way in the summer, do what you got to do. Just don't do those fake irrigation ones. You get all the extra, if you want tan, just stand in the beach outside. Don't go to the tan salon too much because if you go to certain places, you do get a weird tan. You become like
exactly.
Orange. It's like I've tanned before, never been to a salon, but I've been there, but never actually got tan.
Before we
always did that.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, since we're like running a little late, do you want to wrap up with like a couple? Like, I want to go through one more thing for you too, man. Do you want to talk about like martial arts, man? Like learning how to defend yourself as a man. I think that's important. By the time you're 30, you should definitely know how to defend yourself because you just never know when something's gonna pop off in real life where you need to be able to defend yourself.
Yeah, I could take it from here. Definitely, bro. I think it's important. Excuse me. It's one of those things where, like, I feel like I believe that every man should know how to defend himself or have a chance to self-defense and know something, and woman. Now, obviously, women's a little different. That's a whole other topic, and that's, again, another topic for another episode or something like that. But for women, it's more so like essential because, they got to be more defensive, got to be on their toes, on their P's and Q's in a situation where it's like, she's like, she's like a smaller female, and the big dude can try to grab her, for her, God knows what. You always got to be very careful. And women got to react to like being grabbed because dudes try to grab them, trying to use a force on them. Whereas for a dude, if you're a certain size, that may happen, but at the same time, because a dude against a dude is one thing. A woman against a dude, she got to run away. So hit him in the eye, hit him in the groin, pinch, claw, do dirty fighting techniques, which come in a lot of various martial arts. Whether it's a wrist break, a hand, a pinch, something to the face, a kick to the knee, a slap, a hard slap, a shot here, a spray maze or nothing. I mean, most women should have that. Even a small knife, possibly. Most assaults for women and men come at knife point, not gun point, contrary to what people believe, right? Now, as far as men go, I would say that I feel like men should definitely all train. A little bit, and again, women too, but definitely men because different body types are a little different. So I'm kind of trying to break it down a little, so the more fair way I can say it, right? Like if you're a dude out there, definitely learn a little martial arts, a little traditional stuff, combative stuff for the streets, for ring, a little MMA helps. Boxing is very important. Definitely a little kickboxing. You don't necessarily kick really high in a street fight, but knowing how to kick high is very important. You can't kick high and throw head kicks. I've seen Muay Thai dudes and kickboxers and karate guys fold dudes in half with kicks. Like I seen a video, dude in Mexico started some dude some tough wannabe guy, and the other guy was actually smaller. He set him up with like 1-2, slipped out the way, threw the right kick, high kick to the face, bro, right in the neck, folded him in half, like a beautiful kickboxing K1 type of knockout, and that was cool. I seen dudes slam dudes on the ground, you know. I seen a former UFC fighter and Bellator fighter who actually I seen live one time when he fought Eddie Alvarez. His name is Roger Huerta. I seen Alvarez versus Huerta back at Temple. Speaking of Temple, right there at the Core Center back in 2010. Roger Huerta was involved one time back in like 09, like mid or late 09 or something like that, in a brawl in Texas. There's this big dude, stocky looking dude, like a like a big white tee. He was like some kind of like thug looking dude, asshole. He slept, or I think he punched a girl actually. He slept and he punched her. So Roger Huerta wasn't going to have that. And Roger Huerta's about 5'9", 5'10". So if you fight to 55, that means he walks around like 170, between 72 and 75. So around, probably a little smaller than me, but also probably a little slightly shorter, So he fights at 55. He went up to this dude's like, yo, what you doing? Oh, this and that happens. Like, yo, man, it's not right, man. You should apologize. What the hell? What you doing? And long story short, dude tried to be weird on him. Tried to swing. Huerta caught him with a 1-2 hook, kicked him in the leg, dropped him, and smacked him one time on the face just for like a good measure. Knocked the dude the fuck out, bro. Air hold him, bro. And he did it because the dude hit a girl when he really shouldn't be doing that. I mean, he shouldn't put hands on a woman. And it was at a bar in Texas. Like, this was a story back in like those UFC websites and MMA. Well, I mean, some are still around, but this is like in 09, so a little over a decade ago. But I remember when that happened. And a lot of UFC fighters have fought some civilians in situations like that for like defending or sticking up for dudes getting bullied and all that. So I mean, that's good to see, I mean, you never want to see fighters fighting outside the ring too much, but if it has to happen or if it's self-defense, then it's cool. So now they're MMA fighters and professional fighters. Doesn't mean it's someone like, watching at home, someone like like you who knows how to fight a little bit, but haven't had a lot of formal training, can get into that, even train with some of these guys and learn a little and be okay in the streets, so just to be confident. It boosts your confidence, your perception of things, your aura about you, bro, the way you talk to people. You're also more confident, you're cooler as well a lot of times. You don't got to be a me that knows how to fight, just be a good person that knows how to fight. It all comes down to attitude and character. He builds character, confidence, he builds awareness, you know what I mean? You get a little better with handling yourself. Sometimes you don't even care if it's 2 or 3 people. I mean, unless it's a lot of people, and depending how trained they are and what they have, if they have a weapon or pipe, then you gotta be careful. If it's a gun, whoa, that's all different story. We get into that, but better thing to do is run. But if you have a gun as well, then you gotta be very careful. That's a whole tricky type of topic and scenario. But yeah, always pick your fights, know when to fight and know when not to fight. Very important. Don't just fight anybody because you know how to fight. You can be Bruce Lee out there. There's no real champs in the streets, bro. No one's undefeated. You just gotta better to walk away. When I used to train with some guys, military guys, and some guys did like a training martial arts, they trained like out of church. They were like martial artists in the church program. Would do recite a little verse and do a technique. And at the end of the day, it was you teaching the class technique, and it was self-defense all out. In other words, your Shark Tank, but not one-on-one. It would be you in the middle and attack multiple attackers simultaneously. I used to train out of I'm still really cool with connected with him. I still see the pastor there, Pastor Robinson, my man, Pastor Robinson, or Master Robinson. But I used to train at a African American church, Baptist church, back in like 2011 to like 2015, and down by like I want to say like maybe the Germantown area, and they did it. They didn't play around. At the end of the day, bro, you just stay in the middle, and dudes attacking at once. Now they're not gonna go at you full force to fuck you up and hurt you really badly, but they're not also pulling punches neither. I mean, if you get hit, you better react a little, block, come back with a shot to the face, an arm wrench, grip the person in front of you, throw him against somebody else, kick the guy here like a Bruce Lee movie. I mean, you're doing it almost like a sparring session, and you can get hit a little. It's cool, but you gotta yell, and they want you to see breathe, yell. And on some like Kia and go crazy like a madman, because if you're about to get jumped and you go crazy yelling, you fucking dudes up, what's gonna happen? They're gonna be like, whoa, hold on, this guy knows something, he's a little crazy, he's not gonna know. Let's not mess with him. He took down 2 of our dudes already, and it's like 6 people on one. Sure, you're gonna get some shots, but you get your licks in, and you might even walk away. They're supposed to crush you, destroy and stump you out. You might walk away okay with a scratch. A scratch in your middle finger and be like, see this? You know what I mean? But yeah, so you might be okay. So sometimes that helps too, bro. Like one of my uncles once told me, like if you're about to get jumped, you might happen, and you're surrounded, hit the one guy hard, you take one out or 2, and even if you get fucked up, just get one of them out, because they'll think, oh, he hit one of them, and the trick is sometimes you can't talk it out, sometimes there's escape routes, there's situations, don't put yourself there, no little, but I'm not scared. Don't be cocky, nothing like that, because anything can happen. You can definitely get, almost jumped and all that. I mean, nice situations, like, tough, sticky situations, but just be really prepared and aware. Be like, you know what, it can happen, better get out. If you have your friends there, cool. And also you have to be around friends that know to fight a little too, or at least are riders. If you're around clowns, they're not going to ride for you, bro. I had a weirdo one time trying to threaten me right before I started. No, around the time I started Holy Family back in 2012, right there by that place, which is like on on Grant and Academy. It's to be called Andrea's. Back in the day, it was Fusion Club, or no, not Fusion, Matrix or something like that. Then it was something else. It was a bar.
Albert's.
Yes, Albert's. Yes, a dude trying to get weird with there, talking about I was watching his girlfriend, but I wasn't though, and it was the bartender, like, well, she's the bartender, is she not? And he was trying to act with the beer muscles with me. I'm like, all right. and he kind of put his hand around me, so I kind of pushed him off a little, you know, in a nice, really smooth way. My friend was like, when he put his arm around you, you should judo toss him. I'm like, you know what? I could have done it, but it would have been like a fight. So the bartender came, and I was like, I told the girl, I guess that he said I was looking at the bartender. I was like, nah, he's harassing me. I didn't say nothing. He says, look at my girlfriend, look at her again, he's gonna smash me in a bottle. She's like, if he bothers you, we can call the police, call the cops right now. I was like, nah, let him go. It's all good. Later that night, I remember they're playing some DMX too, because the crowd's getting hype. He goes in the bathroom, and I went there too. That much situation. I could have walked in the bathroom and walked out okay, and he would have been a little, not that banged up because I would have nothing to do crazy, but he would have had a couple scars and bruises. Oh, you talking shit? What's up now, huh? If I really wanted to, but I was cool. I was like, nah, it's all right, man. I just started, I went to my next college, and I'm chilling, trying to play soccer here. I had my fights at the time. I was, I had a small injury, so I was taking a break from fighting, but I was still training. It was like in the fall of 2012, so I was like, I'll let it go. I was like, I'm cool. I was confident, but shit can pop off over the petty shit, so, you know what I mean? Always got what you're doing, bro. But yeah, so that was it. I mean, like I said, definitely by the time you're 30, know a few things, take some martial arts and some skills, learn something. If you know somebody does it, like I do it, I've been doing it for a while. I also train a lot of people, and I do privates now, and I work with clients now. I've been doing it for a while, but more or less now, because COVID definitely slowed down a little bit of the situation. So for those guys out there, feel free to reach out to me. I don't charge a lot, so. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've taught for friends for free. I've trained people, women, younger people, kids. I have a lot of years in training and experience, and I've competed as well, and I've fought. So definitely learn a little boxing, MMA, wrestling, even pro wrestling is not really as bad as people think. Even though it's scripted, a lot of stuff is real fights and techniques. So, you can ask Coach Den about that. He can tell you a lot about that. Pro wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
So definitely learn a little about that and be confident. And again, use it if you have to, but if you don't compete, it's fine too. It's definitely a cool thing, if you get into that, and you don't gotta be too old. Again, a lot of guys great fighters become great by 30. Some people start later. It's good to start a little before that, but if you're a little age, you can still start on then. It's not necessarily too late to start martial arts at 30.
Right.
People think it is, oh, you're old. Not necessarily. Trust me. You don't be 35 in your first fight, but I mean, if you do like an amateur thing against somebody who's not really as skilled and, was like kind of a little older in age, that's cool, because people think that by the time you're 31, 32, you're too old in sports, and you're not. Look at LeBron. Still one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT right now. Right now, it definitely is in basketball, and he's 36. No slowing down. Always in the conversation of GOATs, one of the best. Brady was great, at 30, and he's 40-something. He's still great. So, yeah, you're not too old. I mean, you're never really too old, for real. But unless you're old and you're retired, that's different. You're not active, that's a different story. But,
Yeah.
They invest. Some solid points. Did you want to add on to this a little? Anything about this, bro? Because I want to give you some room to definitely express your. I know we're going on time a little, but do you want to add on to this?
Not really on martial arts. I mean, I definitely just agree. It's important to defend yourself, and just learn how to defend yourself. Even if you're not taking martial arts, something like that, just find ways to defend yourself. But I think that could be something that's very important. Learn a little bit about martial arts, learn a little bit about like jujitsu and all different types of stuff. Some good points there, man. And you were saying just LeBron and Tom Brady there. Yeah, I mean, they invest in their health. And that was another point I kind of had here. I'm not going to really run into it because we are kind of up against it right now. So I could, invest in your health. I think that that doesn't even really need to be said. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. By the time you're 30, you should be taking care of your health, because we can't eat and act the same way we did when we were teenagers. When you get older, some people can, but it's rare. Your metabolism slows down. It's harder to get away with eating all the crap that you eat when you're younger.
And also, if you're active. See, if you're going to eat that crap, you better be active. But still, you should eat that a lot less. I mean, I'm not saying you can eat some sweets and cheat a little and eat a little like crap like once, in the year, and you're like in your 30s or 30. But I mean, just don't do it as much as you're doing when you're like 22, 21, in your 20s, eating like crap, eating anything, because you're young. That's the thing about being young, bro. Early 20s and mid 20s, I don't like your 30s. The 30s are a little different, but you're still good in your 30s. Even 39, like late 30s, you're still healthy and all that. If you keep up a certain clean lifestyle, you're good to go. You're not gonna like get out of shape or nothing. People in their 40s look great, especially the ones that work out, let alone your 30s. And drink water. No water. Drink a lot of water. As you reach your 30s, you have to drink more water to flush more, because to go out more, to use the bathroom, to clean your system. Again, if you're eating a lot, like even if you eat a little like crap, you could definitely helps you to clear them more. Stay away from like sodas and all that. Although you can still drink them, still have a little drink. I mean, of choice. I mean, no one's gonna say is saying don't drink what you like and have some snacks. I mean, you're never too old for it. It could be 100 have a snack, if that's the case. But just by the time you're 30, you should limit yourself to some more trashier foods, and and try to stay more healthy. And also even things that are not super trashy but give you too many calories, too much sugars and fats. Kind of just be careful. Just slow down and know how to know your body, basically. Know how to control it and eat a certain way. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I think we made some good points tonight. So we went through a lot of stuff here tonight. Honestly, just a little bit of a recap. So we said invest in your education. Learn how to, learn how to manage your money your finances by the time you're 30. Learn a new language, learn some, practical skills like with your car around the house, learn a new language, traveling. You should travel more fluently, maybe even some solo trips by yourself. Investing in your health, knowing how to defend yourself by the time you're 30. Having a sense of fashion in terms of grooming. A lot of different stuff we hinted on. Yeah. No, we had a lot. Yeah, we learned we had a lot of similar things, which I had a feeling we probably would.
Yeah,
but
styles. So
I would say also one other one that I didn't hit on, like I said, I'm not really going to go down it though because we're up against it. Is learn how to effectively communicate. And we kind of, if you want any more on that, we kind of talked about that networking episode. I forget which one it was. It was a while back, but it was before the new year. But we did one on networking. Find that episode and you can view it.
You got to be right. You got to be able to communicate with your friends and people you haven't talked to in a while, and just return text messages. Be a little better. Sometimes check with you two texts. If you want to text somebody, be there on time and all that. You know what I mean? Communicate with your friends. Set up situations, appointments. Schedules, meetings, brunches, dates, whatever. You know what I mean? Dates to go out. So yeah, I mean these things. Oh yeah, this is one small thing. I'm not gonna get too in detail because we talk about this, but definitely manage your schedule. Basically, yeah, that was actually one of the things I didn't say on the list. I think I had 6 things actually, but manage your schedule. By the time you're like 29, 30, you should know how to manage your time a little better, and you're like, in your early 20s and you're 20, So that's definitely pretty obvious.
Yeah, another one we had on the recap was just fall in love at least once. So I think we covered everything we kind of had stood out for tonight. We gave you at least 10, probably I think a couple more actually. But guys, this was kind of improvised, like I said, but this was, I still think, a phenomenal episode. I think this can offer a lot of advice to a lot of people. We're up against it, against the time here. I'm just going to wrap up with some closing credits before we head out. Just going to wrap it up real quick by thanking everybody who's out there, who's watching us. Like I said, if you like this video and you found it informative, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn notifications on because we go live every Thursday or Friday, depending on our guest schedule, and you're not going to want to miss our videos. Anything to add here, George, before we close out tonight?
I just want to add a small little a segment. It'll take like a couple seconds. So just basically what's going on in the world, and since after all, we are also by entertainment. This is still the entertainment industry in a way, even what we're doing. So just last night, or what was it, 2 nights ago? Was it last night, or I'm not even sure. The Grammy just passed, so it was a big night of music. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of decent awards was given. Congrats to Beyonce won an award, and Megan Thee Stallion. I believe she's also nominated for the best female artist and the best rapper or something like that. So Megan Thee Stallion is doing some big things out there, and also the collab with Beyonce. That's one. A lot of artists were in attendance. It seems like the venues are reopening, and some shows, including some concerts and even places here, like within the local area, are doing maximum capacity, including even like probably by the time the Eagles come back around, the NFL in late August. September, you'll be back to like full capacity or almost full capacity, because I know some games are going to be like that in California and Texas. So things are reopening. That's one thing. Also, quick shout out. Yeah, the UFC passed recently. It was a good event, and Philly's on Sean Brady fought. He fought a guy named Jack Matthews. So shout out to my man, the homie Sean Brady, for a nice little win. Also, big wins were Amanda Nunes, definitely one of the female fighters, the greatest of all time, and probably the GOAT. And Jan Blachowicz defeated my man Israel Adesanya in a great fight between the middleweight champion Izzy Adesanya and the Jan Blachowicz, who's a light heavyweight champion. But this was a light heavyweight, so it was a good UFC show. The Sixers, we covered them last week, so they're still kind of like working through the season, just basically going through the season. Some good wins, so let's keep it up. And we kind of broke it down, explained everything that needs to be explained last episode. A lot of games coming up on the road, but they'll be okay. Oh, real quick, anything on Joel Embiid real quick, bro? In like 20 seconds, real quick, if I might say. You know, add anything?
Yeah, he's out for I think 2 weeks, so 10 games. He should be back. He's not going to play this week into next weekend.
He'll be back middle of April.
Weeks. Yeah, he should be back after April 1st. So he's gonna be out a couple weeks.
Yeah, he'll be back for most of April. Then if he's gonna miss most of the month, he'll be back between
he had a bone bruise.
Bone bruise. That was a little scary, but it's crazy. We kind of had covered it live on the story. We seen it firsthand, so that was actually at first, because we don't watch a lot of games with fights like when it happens. But if we did the podcast on Saturdays, we have UFC or boxing, or kickboxing, and watching something happens. Oh, Connor wins the fight and break it down in real time. But that was kind of cool. That was dope anyway. Even though it sucks, it happened to Embiid, who's one of our favorite players, one of Philly's favorite sons, and one of our definitely our favorite
He's
basketball
the
players.
MVP of the league. He's
MVP
best
league,
sixer.
yeah. He's MVP now, baby. You know how it is, then. Joel Embiid, definitely speed recovery, Joel. Get well soon, man. Definitely. I mean, the Sixers need him, and again, the NBA is looking good. Soon will be April, which means the MLB is going to start soon. It's another story right there. And then, of course, just want to mention is me and you, bro. We'll be doing an episode on professional wrestling for those wrestling buffs out there. Larry, but what's his name? Dylan might be for that one. Might actually want to come, and also Anil. But a lot of guys like a lot of our guests that have been here in the past, or that that we know that we might bring in like that. So I mean, pro wrestling's gonna be a big episode eventually. Not sure when, but we'll make it happen. And
yeah, if that's the case, it'll probably be like April 8th, right before WrestleMania.
Exactly, because WrestleMania is coming up. So one last thing I'm gonna say also, as far as it's all whatever's going on in the world, Coming to America 2 is a pretty decent movie now. Streaming, it's been streaming for a while. I seen it. I'm gonna watch it again tonight. I've seen it a little bit 2 nights ago, but I seen it like on and off, and then I seen it like the other night, but I kind of fell asleep watching it, so it's like my third time watching it. But I don't want to watch it till the very end. I seen most of it though. It was actually, I thought it was pretty good, but it was mixed feelings. But most people seem that's pretty decent. I thought the beginning the idea was dope, but it's like it's been 30 years or 30 some years since the first one, maybe like 32 years. Because the first one came out in 88, so this is 2021. Yeah, like 33 years basically. And he's got a son now in America, so he comes back for his son. That was cool, man. He had to go touch a lion and get a whisker from a lion. Hilarious. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, pretty good movie. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. Do what you got to do and all. Stay entertained, guys. Stay cool and safe. And yeah, pretty much. I think I covered most of the what's going on in the world entertainment segment and some of the shout outs. Anything you want to say, bro, before we really go to our buys and final words? Or I mean, you covered everything.
Pretty much cover anything. I'm trying to think of anybody who everything. Yeah, I think we cover everything. You just kind of hit on sports. Sixers are probably playing pretty well even without a beat. Last night they went to overtime against the Bucks. Probably should have won that game. They were up 19, but the Bucks are a good team, so not too worried about it. But the Flyers, man, they lost 9-0 last night. They're playing right now. I think they're up 1-0. But yeah, that was embarrassing. 9-0 last night. I just like it was the worst loss I think I've ever seen them.
Yeah, I heard about that. It was actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one more thing. Do you know that we actually have one more American champion, Aljamain Sterling, who fights out of he's from New York, born in New York City, fights out of the Sarah Longo, group and team. He actually beat Peter Yan of Russia, who had previously beaten Uriah Faber and Jose Aldo, two, Uriah Faber, the California kid, another American fighter, and Jose Aldo, Brazilian fighter. This guy beat them both, and Aljamain Sterling won the fight, but unfortunately it was because of a knee on the ground when his knees were both touching, and the rule is you cannot hit somebody in the knee if his knees are touching. He's got to be a little like crouch, not knees touching. So disqualification, but he's a champion of the UFC. So shout out to Aljamain Sterling. And we have another American champion. But yeah, I mean, and he also an East Coast guy, which is pretty cool. And I actually seen him a couple of those guys. They've been to Philly, but a little unfortunate, but he's still a champion, so it's cool and all that. Sports are looking good, bro. The Sixers, I mean, thumbs up, but maybe we'll cover a game one day and do like a small segment, like not an official podcast, but a small 20-minute show, 30-minute show, and possibly even air a game a little, maybe we could do one of those. Possible plan.
Yeah, for sure, man. We'll discuss it, man. We'll get some things going down.
The Sixers hour, which it'll be a small episode, which would be not like a big hour and a half. It'll be like a small segment, maybe like 20 minutes, even possibly 30 minutes, whatever. But we could kind of break down a game, and we can start doing these every now and then, or some fight nights or whatever. But we'll figure it out. Again, we have a lot of things to discuss and think about and worry about, and a lot of plans. So we'll talk to you guys behind the scenes. I think we're just about good, bro. 8:24. We're just a little over.
Yeah, we're a little over. So just gonna wrap it up, guys. This has been a production of the Locked In Podcast, your home for personal development tips, sports news, music, and more. No guests this week, obviously, but shout out to our previous guest last week, Marius and Heath. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for breaking down the second half of the Sixers season with us. And we look forward to next week, which we're going to have my boy Derek Bailey on, where he's going to talk about with his company Vision and with fashion and for men and women. It's going to be some great stuff. Excited for it. We got some solid things kind of going on down the pipeline to finish out this month, and then early April, and then May will be here eventually. So good stuff. If there's nothing else tonight, I think we'll just wrap it up here, guys. Like I said, you like the video, smash the like button. Hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on Facebook, the personal website. A lot of great stuff.
Twitter, all that good
stuff. If there's nothing else, guys, have a great night. Same to you, George. Thank you. It's been a pleasure as always doing the podcast with you. So have a great night, guys, and enjoy your weekend. Until next time, be true and be you.
Good night, man. All right, man. Later.
Good night.